Greetings, everybody. How are you doing today? It is indeed a pleasure having you here. Today is the 27th of June, the last week of the first half of 2022. We're going to be crossing over to the second half. So trust me, it poses a lot of great opportunities in the market. Speaking of opportunities in the market, I'm going to be talking about the fiber, the EURUSD now. And if you look at what we have right in front of us, starting from the monthly time frame, and you can see we seem to have formed a support over here dating back to about 2015. And of course, now price is back to that area, right? Price has been here since, let's say, since the month of April, May, and then June. You can see how the market has been reacting. And if you look closely, look at the wicks, you can see these wicks showing that there's buying pressure here, and then now it looks like it might as well close above, right? So that means that those that were expecting a breakout, this was most likely a fake out for you, and we might have it push higher, right? So this is just looking at this from the monthly time frame, and we're going to be doing a sort of multi-time frame analysis approach to have a better, clearer understanding of what's happening in the market. Looking at the weekly time frame, beautiful. You can see now that there's beginning to be more clarity on what's happening in the market. From the weekly time frame, you can see we had this big drop down. This was even from last year, 2021. Right, and even 2020, by the way. But then this year has been more to the downside. As has been more to the downside, you look closely, that's why I boxed this area to show this down wave. We've been having some untested. Here is yet to be tested as a form of resistance. Here, proper retest, here, proper retest. And you can see that we also did, well, we could also add this one to the mix. And you can see that we also put a Fibonacci here from the highs of this point to the lows here. But then, speaking of the Fibonacci, you should be looking for 38.2, 50, or 61.8 as key, very important areas of interest to short. So that means that this chart here is due for retracement. This wave, you could call it waves. You know, price tends to move in waves. So this wave that we have over here right in front of us is due for a retracement. It could be a partial wave to 38.2 before coming back down, or to 50 or 61.8 before coming back down. Or you could as well take out the whole wave, right? I'm not saying it's going to take out the whole wave. I'm just giving you an example of how price tends to, react, how price tends to behave, moving from one wave to the other. The good thing about this 38.2 around this 1.12 area now is that we have confluence with this area of support and then this area of little resistance. So this would be a good place to look for shorts. For me, this would be a fantastic place to look for shorts from the weekly time frame perspective. So I want you to have a good enough idea that we could be having some forms of oversold in this region from the weekly time frame. And then if we cross over to the daily time frame, you could see this nice and beautiful wave. You can see the wave going down. As the wave going down, I'm going to tell you that we have a sweet spot here that we need to pay attention to, and that is this over here. This area here has acted as resistance, support, and a little resistance here. So look at it, it's knocking at that 1.06 marker here again, which means that from this 1.06, it can as well, get rejected and then drop. Or it could get a nice breakout of 1.06, which should now act as support, and then we have a push higher, right? So we're going to see if this is going to be on the cards, whether it's going to reject here and then bounce here, or break out and then use this as a launching pad to push higher. But one thing you need to understand is that everything is on the charts. You can see I'm marking out these areas here that seem to be of interest. When will price get to test this area again, right? So let's see how the price breaks, how the price plays out rather. But mind you, from this daily time frame, you can see that the bulls are beginning to pick up momentum. So if you want to be, early enough in this bullish momentum, in this downtrend, that's why in every downtrend, right, there's still opportunities to go long, but you need to be sure of what's happening in the market. And that's why I'm showing you this in front of you. So what this 1.06 marker and see how it plays out. And then looking for opportunities to go long. That's if you want to go long. This is one that you could have gotten off the 4 hours time frame. You can see as we're dropping down in time frames, it's beginning to look much clearer and clearer. Here we have this as form of support, 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 you can see, and then we have some little resistance here and then support. So that means that these areas would have been good as a form of entry. That means that the entry has already passed us a bit. If, excuse me, you're looking forward to going long over here, right? So that means that for what we have here, as long as price stays above this structure here, above this 1.0450 area, this structure here, this block, we should expect it to push higher, even if it does some form of up and downs as usual. Price tends to move in a zigzag pattern. We should still expect it to get to 1.08. Remember, we talked about this 1.08 from the daily time frame perspective, right? So if you look at what we have here, it is beginning to align better. And this 1.08 area, you can see we have it as support, 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 resistance, 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 resistance. And this clearly is known as what? Is known as a flip zone. Yes, a flip zone is an area that acts as support and then also acts as resistance at the same time. Support and resistance, right? At any given time, it acts as support and resistance. And this is what we have right in front of us. Now, if you are now getting, a good enough clue that, oh, great, I should be looking forward to being more of a buyer. Well, I'm not sure whether the price will get back here to test this week to push higher. If that is the case, then look for buying opportunities around here. If that is the case, look for buying opportunities around here on the 4 hours time frame, as long as this structure holds. And if you are trying to get a discounted price on the hourly time frame, this is what you should be looking at. Now you can see on the hourly time frame, I used the Fibonacci to give us a clearer idea. Fibonacci is for identifying the trend as well. So you can see also that this trend has been down on the hourly time frame. But you can see from here where we had the 61.8 marker, which also confluences with this area of support. This was former support here. Now, if you look clearly, we've been having some test here of resistance, and price is still going back there. Trust me, if the 61.8 should fail this week, there's no doubt about it, it's coming back to this 100 marker. And then maybe if you are a fan of the Fibonacci expansions, you can have it push higher to 161.8 and so on. But then also something that is also very fascinating of what we have over here on this hourly time frame is that you notice that we're having some higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And these higher lows, don't be surprised if you have a higher low up to this point here, and then it pushes higher. So the opportunities to go along with the prevailing trend, you just have to look at your chart, identify the areas of interest, number one, and then look at how price moves to that area of interest, and then you must have your trigger. Your trigger could be chart patterns, whether you're using butterfly, or you're using the head and shoulders, or maybe you're even using the traditional hammers or bullish engulfings, dojis, spinning tops, or whatever, right? So look for something around here, probably around 1.0540 area of interest as a form of, place to jump in. Place to jump in, I could easily, just by looking at the hourly time frame too, I could easily mark out this area here. If you look over here and look closely, I'm going to do something for you. You have this here as a little form of resistance here, little resistance, resistance, little support here, little resistance, little resistance, resistance here. So this area is going to be key. It could be today, it could be tomorrow. And mind you, on the economic calendar for today, the market is pretty quiet until tomorrow. I think we have high impact news for the dollar. So we should have fresh volatility come into the market. So this is just a quick rundown of what I'm looking at for the fiber this week. I'm looking at that key as a summary. 1.06 is very key. If it breaks, then look for opportunities to buy, period. And if it bounces, of course, then we might have another retest of the lows of this year. So that's just a quick one, and I'm going to call it a day here. It has been a pleasure. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, If you are new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and do give the video a like. And of course, if you enjoyed the video and you know anybody that will be interested in seeing the video, you can as well share. Thank you guys. Has indeed been a pleasure. More videos to come, more analysis to come, more tutorial videos to come as well. And if you have any question, you want to see a particular video on any instrument of choice where we break it down for you to have an opportunity this week or two, let us know, and then we'll see what we can do for you. Thank you guys. Has indeed been a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of the day. Goodbye and God bless. Cheers.